Figure out these technical difficulties. Wonder what
Yeah,
it
I know.
was.
But I
Uh,
started like an hour ago. It was like, okay, I'm gonna sort out everything. And then I waited and I came back. And yeah, they came back.
oh. And now your internet is deciding not to work.
I'm just not good at this stuff, man. I swear.
Your internet, it sounded like you were on a 1990s cell phone and you were entering a tunnel.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll
I think
figure it
it's
out.
my
We'll
computer,
figure it.
man. It's those AMD chips.
From what year?
Um, like last year. It's a pretty new
Really?
computer, and yeah, Ryzen 7. I don't know. This is what they perform with.
Uh, no, I've got an AMD chip. Um,
Hmm.
Depending on the years, it's either Intel or AMD. I do have an Intel um, on one of my computers, and on this computer, it's AMD, and it's worked good. So maybe not. Depends on the gen, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
so maybe it's that. So as per usual, I do corrections from previous episodes. I don't think we need corrections for this one though. I thought about it and I didn't even do corrections because last episode we talked about are we in a simulation, which is all there's no evidence, there's no nothing provable. There's some thought experiments, there's some philosophy stuff, but overall there's no actual science. So I'm gonna chalk it up as nothing we said was technically incorrect because there's no
I
there's
mean,
no proving that.
yeah, nothing to check it against.
Yeah, it's all sci-fi stuff as of right now. So, but that's what we talked about last episode. We had a conversation about um, is this a simulation or is it not a simulation? We're going to talk about a weird one today. If you've seen the title, you kind of already know what it is. When you sent me um, the the potential topic that we would talk about, I was like, well, this one's fucking boring. But I thought about it more and like actually it can be pretty interesting. It can be pretty interesting depending on how we attack this. I don't know how you want to talk about it and what exactly you want to talk about. But is why can't we go through shit? Why can't we there's a screen in front of me. I'm tapping it. It's making contact. I'm grabbing this microphone and I can't go through it.
Hmm.
Why? I know, simple, weird question, but um, it'd be fun to talk about. There's a lot of science behind this. There's a lot that I'm probably gonna have to fact check next week um, on this very simple thing. So
Right.
go. What's your idea behind all of this stuff? What's your what the fuck? Why this topic?
Well, it reminds me of my old philosophy classes that I had to take. That I think half the class dropped out of on the first day when I was
Uh,
in school, when I was in college, and yeah, they would. My philosophy teacher would ask me, do you think that the floor you're standing on is real? What prevents you from falling through the floor? And it's actually a physics question. It's not. It doesn't really have anything to do with philosophy. Philosophy is the art of questioning, but um, it's the physics basis behind it is everything is made up of atoms, of course. If you were to look at an atom, it's mostly empty space. So your body's made up of empty space. The computers, everything, the computer screen you have, the walls in front of you, they're all made up of empty space. Um, and just compressed atoms of empty space and electrons.
well,
Or electrons exist in empty space.
that's where I was going. It's not. I don't understand this one too much, so I may have to look it up while you're talking. to kind of confirm. But is it that we're actually mostly empty space? Is it that atoms are mostly empty space, or is it that there's an electrical charge that surrounds it? Oversimplifying this, but kind of like Earth has a magnetic field around it. We don't see it, so therefore we would say it's empty space, but it's not
Hmm.
technically empty. It's just easier to say that it's empty. Is that correct,
Right.
or should I look it up?
Yeah. So it's not full of what we would consider a solid mass, but it's actually surrounded by an electrical field or electromagnetic field. Um, so yeah, you would think that because it's not a solid mass, you should be able to put your fingers through it. Um, but that's not actually what's happening. So
It,
um,
it's
basically,
but it's electrons, right? Like it's again, I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but my understanding of it is it's the electrons. It's the not necessarily a magnetic field, but it's some sort of electric field that's there. And I
Mhm.
think you're about to say some really wild shit. I think so. I'm gonna let you say the really wild shit because this I've studied not a ton, but I have studied a little bit, and it's such a wild thing to think about, especially because of what I'm doing right now. I think you're about to say this, and I'm just gonna let you say it.
All right. So, I mean, this is the actual reason that you can't put your hands through your table and you can't fall through your chair. It's a phenomenon called electromagnetic repulsion. And basically, what it is the ions or the electrons in on your the surface of your skin or on your in your body will be repelled by the electrons that are making up uh, the empty space, the atoms of whatever material that you are touching.
So while your internet figures out what it wants to do, it this was it wasn't presented to me, but I seen and I heard about this several years ago, and it fucking blew my mind. And this is when I started studying this. And this was the idea that we're actually not touching stuff. What you're
Right.
actually feeling is what you have described, and that is that those again that electricity. You're not actually feeling the hand. I'm not feeling the microphone. I'm not feeling the screen. I'm feeling the repulsion from it. I'm feeling that electric repulsion from it. I got notes here because I got notes. So when your hand touches a wall, the electron clouds in your atoms interact with the electron clouds in the wall's atoms. You never actually touch the wall in a classical sense. You're feeling electromagnetic repulsion between the electrons. So, which is wild, right? Like that's fucking
Yeah.
wild because I'm actually holding on to a device,
Hmm.
and in order for me to do that, I have to hold on to it. But according to physics, I'm not even touching it technically. It is the phone's atoms. It's electromagnetic waves, or it's what the fuck did I say? Electromagnetic, or the clouds, electron clouds. Um, that repulsion is pushing up against mine, and obviously it's causing friction, and that's why it's able to stay in my hand. But that has
Hmm.
always been wild to me. This idea that we're not actually touching the shit.
Right. So, I mean, is there like a gap between your
Correct.
hand and say a wall? Forget walking through the wall. You can't even
You can't
touch
even
the wall.
touch the wall. You can't
Yeah.
even touch the wall. It's electromagnetic repulsion. It's not even that you're solid, because we've talked about quantum tunneling and even neutrinos. Neutrinos are almost massless, but they're not massless. I've got What are we? We were Fion. There's borons and Fiona. Let me see what the fuck we are. We're fermions. Fermions. There's bosons and fermions. We're fermions.
Yes, yep.
And fermion, is it fermions? I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say fermions. So electrons, protons, neutrons, quarks, and neutrinos are all fermions, which basically just means it's shit that makes up matter. It's so neutrinos are going through us at this very moment. It goes through walls. That is almost massless, and it's essentially the same shit that we are, or it's composed of the same shit that we are, because it's not necessarily. What is the bosons? The bosons are
Um,
the electromagnetic stuff, the energy that makes the shit move.
that, that
Um,
makes that makes the mass, or that solidifies mass, the
well,
bosons.
let me see. Bosons. Bosons. If fermions are the particles that make up matter, then bosons are the particles that carry forces. So
Okay.
bosons are the particles that carry the force. So it's what carries us. It's what carries the photons. It's what's carrying the neutrinos, all that shit. Fermions, the stuff that things are made of. Bosons, the forces acting on that stuff. Got it. So I guess the waves,
Mhm.
right? I maybe,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, this is always an interesting thing. I don't know what else you want to say about this. I know I got some notes. I don't know if you got some notes. But go.
Well, I was looking up something called the Pauli exclusion principle.
The
Have
poly
you heard of
exclusion,
that
yeah.
one?
Yeah, yeah, but only
Yeah.
because I looked it up. Only when I started looking up all of this stuff. This is the
Mhm.
very first time I've heard of it. I haven't had enough time to even look at it. I do have it up right here on the screen. The Pauli exclusion principle, the quantum rule that stops you. Go explain it to the humans.
Yeah. Basically, two identical fermions can't occupy. I mean, they can occupy the same quantum state simultaneously within a system, meaning they can't have the identical set of four quantum numbers. So
Yeah,
basically, yeah, electrons can't occupy the same state,
okay. So when
or
here's what
basically the
I've got.
same space.
So here's what I've got. And again, these are just really quick notes that ChatGPT helped me with. So take it for what it's worth, because a lot of this I haven't corrected it, and we all know ChatGPT can be wrong. But these are some notes that the AI helped me get together. So when atoms try to overlap, their electrons cannot occupy the same state. The system resists compression. Matter behaves as a solid barrier. The same rule is also why white dwarf stars don't collapse. Matter has structure, and chairs hold you up. So, two electrons cannot occupy the same quantum state in the same place. Which brings us to we still don't fucking know.
It's a great metaphor. They can't sit in the same seat. So
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
in order to keep a chair solid, those electrons have to stay separate. So if they occupy the same exact state, then it turns to mush. Everything falls apart because it falls into itself. That's about it.
So I've got some analogies. I know for a lot of humans, we've already kind of said the words, but I think a lot of people that want to understand this still have a really difficult time understanding how this goes. I know I'm one of the humans that kind of needs some sort of example and analogy, that type of stuff. But I do have some analogies. When two atoms get close, their electron clouds overlap. The electrons repel each other. The atoms push apart. Um, the other kind of idea is we've all, I think we've all done this. If you haven't done this, you live a really sad childhood. And that is getting two magnets and getting them to face the same polarity, north and north, right? That's the way it works,
Mhm.
north and north, and you try and put them together, and they'll repel each other. That's basically what our body's doing with other with other objects, I guess. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, if that didn't work out, I mean, you'd fall right through the floor. This would be an interesting show if that happened.
it'd be weird. It'd
Yeah.
be it's such an interesting conversation. It's just such an interesting thing to. This is why it's so easy to fall into this idea that we are potentially in a simulation. So I know last time we talked about like the world doesn't look like a rendering, and then
Hmm.
and then we can agree on that. Like I've never really seen pixelated shit, and I've never seen outside of technology what's happening to you. Like I've never heard somebody talk the way you're talking to me right now, just because of the internet and technology is just not working the way it's not working, like in a pixelated fashion in real life. It's never happened, but it is
Yeah.
weird that we're not touching stuff. It is weird that if we zoom in as much as we possibly can, there's going to be a gap between my two hands. And the weirder thing is, I can actually see. Like I don't know if you can see that. I can actually see when I touch it. My
Hmm.
skin kind of makes an indentation, but physics says, well, it's not your finger that made that indentation. It's the
The
um,
force.
it is the fucking electromagnetic repulsion that is actually um
Yeah.
pushing up against your skin. Or well, not even your skin, the other electrons, quote
So
unquote,
the
the
only
empty.
thing going through my head right now is like how long or how many hours did you actually do this? Like just push your fingers together like
Dude, science is crazy.
yeah.
Um I know when I first, because I heard about this, and I also heard about the fact that we don't feel the actual wet. It's actually a change
Uh-huh.
of temperature. We just describe it as wet. Now, I haven't dug deep into that one, but like in the physics world, I know there's some humans that talk about this idea that we don't actually feel wet. It's just a change in temperature, and that's really what we're experiencing. Now that's
Mhm.
batshit crazy. These are all things where like I don't even need to be high. I'm not a human who consumes marijuana, but I could see how humans who consume marijuana would
After
get
this.
stuck. Yeah, yeah, would get stuck in like, what the fuck you mean? I'm gonna let you talk while I look up that whole idea of we don't actually feel wet.
Yeah, I mean, there's even that concept of like if you were to jump into a pool, if you're sitting in a body of water, you're not actually wet in that body of water. It's your body is contained in its own self, and the water is just around you, and there's some type of a oleophobic field around you while you're in the water.
Oh,
And I don't know about all that, but
yeah. This is it's mostly correct. Again, I haven't verified that. I haven't dug deep into this stuff. How your brain detects wet. Your skin has several types of receptors, including um, mechanoreceptors. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm going to say it. It detects pressure, movement, vibrations. Thermoreceptors detect hot and cold. Is it NOCI or NOCI receptor? No, NOCICE receptors. So I don't know if that's NOCI or nociceptors. I don't know how you pronounce that. Detects pain or irritation. There is no receptor specifically for wetness. So when your brain thinks something is wet, it's
hmm,
actually combining signals like cool temperature, light pressure, skin deformation, movement of liquid across the skin. Your brain recognizes this pattern of signal and labels it as wet. Evidence from experiments. Researchers have tested this by creating fake wet sensations. For examples, experiments. I've actually had that sensation it's fucking weird when I'm holding a cup of coffee or tea and I put it in between my legs and I feel the warmth from it. And sometimes like I think I spilled some on myself. And it's not I didn't spill anything. It was just the temperature change. And I think my
Right.
brain thought, well, you have a liquid in between your legs. Um, so I guess there is plenty of evidence to suggest that we don't even feel wet, which is fucking weird. And I don't know if that would be the same thing though. I think that's more of a brain issue than it is electromagnetic repulsion. I think it's just the way our brain perceives wet. So maybe
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not the
well,
same.
all your life, your brain has perceived different objects and the feel of different objects,
Yeah, that's true.
and now we're learning that you've never even touched anything. So
You've never felt anything
yeah,
like actual physical contact,
right.
which is fucking batshit crazy to consider. Super fucking. So here's an experiment that people can do for this. Um, where was I? Fat wake sensation, for example, experiments have shown that if you cool the skin lightly, apply gentle mechanical stimulation. Often, people often report the feeling water touching their skin. I'm sure if you blindfold somebody, this would work even better. So put something cool and apply gentle mechanical stimulation. Even when there is no moisture present, they feel like it is. This shows the brain predicting wetness, not directly sensing it. Why water often feels cold. Water tends to feel cool because it removes heat from your skin very efficiently. When the illusion breaks, here we go. This is why sometimes situations feel confusing. Warm water sometimes doesn't feel immediately wet. I've never thought about that. I'm going to have to pay attention to that. Very humid air can feel wet even though there's no liquid. Yeah. If you've ever been to Florida,
Hmm.
um, for fucking sure. If you've ever been to Florida, it feels like you're swimming in that motherfucker. Certain gels or oils feel wet even though they aren't wet. And lotions,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Lotions, your brain is guessing based on sensory patterns. Huh. Interesting.
uh, a good one.
What
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So basically, we're arguing that solidity is basically an illusion created by force. That's really all it is. And every touch is actually interaction. It's not necessarily a touch. You're just interacting with whatever item that you have.
Electromagnetic force.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back to
Structure.
that poly exclusion principle.
Yeah.
Um oh no, we talked about that, right? Like we did talk yeah, we did talk about that because we I talked about the white dwarfs. Um
So it's just saying that, say one electron is spinning in one direction, another electron is spinning in another direction. It just keeps them from coming too close. That's all the exclusion principle says.
that's crazy. So then this I'm gonna take this a weird way.
Mhm.
Um because it feels like we had this conversation a lot quicker than I thought we were gonna have this conversation, which I'm okay with. But I'm gonna take this a weird place. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't. I can't say that I never have. I just know for sure. I don't think I've ever truly believed in ghosts. Now I'm thinking back to my childhood. They say ghosts are spirits, and a lot of them interact with electronics because they're
Mhm.
sensitive to electronics, which means that they have a force, an electromagnetic force, which means that they actually could not go through walls. If this is
Right.
true,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So
all
that
the
makes
ghost
sense.
people, right? Like they could not go through. So this idea that we've been presented in movies where like they try and grab an object. In fact, they could grab the object because they'd be operating under the same
Same
principles as
principle
we
as
are.
as a
because
as if
the
they're alive.
because the electrons.
So, so just to let you know my background, I'm half Nigerian, right? So if you've
Uh-huh.
ever watched a Nollywood video, and they have like these like a Nollywood movie,
Uh-huh.
some of them they have what they call the scary movies or horror movies, and there was one in particular where the person was supposed to be a ghost in the film, and I actually watched him look both ways before crossing the street, and I thought that that was I thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
Well, it's teaching the kids. You gotta teach the kids
Right.
implicitly that you gotta look both ways before you go. Yeah.
But now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. So,
Yeah, because I mean, they'd be following because you can't have it both ways, right? You can't say that they interact with electronics because there's no real other way they can interact with electronics unless they themselves held that electromagnetic field. And if they hold that electromagnetic field, then obviously there's electrons going on there, which would
yeah.
repel from the objects, and they couldn't go through walls. So
Mhm.
another point for there's no such
Oh,
thing
I
as
mean,
ghost.
yeah, I mean the thing about ghosts is they have to still follow that first rule of thermodynamics, that energy can't
Can't be
uh
destroyed or created.
yeah.
Is
So it
that the
can
first
only
rule of thermodynamics? I don't think
yeah.
so.
Oh, second.
No, because I thought second was
Oh,
entropy. First rule of thermodynamics. First rule of thermodynamics is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Yep. So we
mhm.
were on the right path. So energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed, only transferred or converted from one form to another. So yeah, I
So,
mean,
so ghosts would just be following that same rule of thermodynamics.
yep,
Your energy doesn't necessarily die with you. So
it can't.
it can't.
Wait, yeah, no, because of entropy, right? It'd have to be distributed somewhere else.
Hmm.
Um, it'd have to go to the worms. It'd have to go to back to the soil. It would have to all of that shit.
Yeah. Um, so I want to self correct self correct here. Um, just earlier, before you were talking there, I said something about the Pauli exclusion principle, where I said electrons spinning one direction and another electron spinning in another direction. It's actually when two electrons are spinning in the same direction, um, then they repel each other.
Yeah,
So
because that's why
just
the
keeps it from
magnet shit
approaching.
works, right? That's why the
Right.
magnet shit works. Um, helium 1s orbital, yeah. They could
So
be going
then
in opposite.
why?
They could be going in opposite directions, just not in the same direction.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
what about neutrons inside of a neutron star? Why is that the exception of all of this?
is it the exception?
Well, they merge. That's the whole thing. Neutrons are able to merge within neutron stars, and that's what creates their density.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
What's it say?
This is Wikipedia of all places.
And
So
for those of
a
you guys that are
neutron
new,
star.
for those of you guys that are new to this, I don't know if you noticed, but Richard and I are not professionals at this. We are very much amateurs at this that are trying to figure it out and decided to have these conversations on the podcast. So we're in many cases learning as we're having this conversation, learning from you guys. So if you know it, put in the comments. Even if we're not live, just put that shit in the comments and let's have a conversation about it. Go.
Yeah. So a neutron star is the gravitationally collapsed core of a massive
Correct.
supergiant star. So yeah, the fact that it's collapsed on itself, then it would make it the exception of its electrons repelling against each other because, of course, they're collapsing.
Oh, Oh, but they're also neutral electronically. So the neutrons are neutral electronically,
That's a good point.
correct?
Yeah.
So they would have nothing to repel because from an electromagnetic standpoint, they have nothing to repel. And I think that's the biggest
Mm,
thing.
but
So
it's weird. They're collapsing into neutrality. It's not that they are born
no,
neutral.
but you're talking about the neutrons though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then
Oh,
it's removing electrons.
but you're talking about why are neutron stars the exception?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought just the neutrons. Got it, because they wouldn't start off as a neutron star. It would collapse into a neutron star.
Right. So then it's expelling electrons in order to create a neutron, pretty much.
Yeah, it
So
would
then
get
where are the huh?
yeah, see, now I'm fucking confused. Okay.
Basically, this is how a supernova is born. If anyone is trying to figure out what we're talking about. So if you ever see stars that are compressing into each other before they actually explode, that's what I'm talking about
Okay,
by a
so
neutron star.
neutron stars are not an exception, but they do show extreme limits of the physics we've been talking about. A neutron star forms after a massive star explodes in a supernova. At the end of the explosion, gravity crushes the remaining core. Electrons and protons get forced together. So the electrons and the protons get forced together. They combine through a weak force reaction. Electrons, protons, then equals neutron and neutrinos. So the star becomes a giant ball of mostly neutrons. So hence the name neutron star. So it actually keeps the neutrons, does not expel the neutrons.
Well, the electrons.
Yeah.
Where do electrons and protons go after that?
No, but it keeps the neutrons because the electrons go away. So the star becomes a giant ball of mostly neutrons. They combine through a weak force reaction, electrons plus protons, and then neutrons plus neutrinos. So it's the neutrons and the neutrinos that come together, if I'm not mistaken. But this does not violate the Pauli exclusion principle. Even neutrons, which are fermions, cannot occupy the same quantum state. The quantum rule is literally holding the star up against gravity.
Okay.
So not necessarily.
So the star doesn't fall; it floats. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's against gravity.
Yeah. So
it becomes more massive.
Right. Extremely dense.
Yeah. So it becomes more and more dense, for sure. But it's not disappearing. So yeah, I don't think it's an exception. Why they aren't really an exception. Earlier we talked about how matter resists compressions. Again, this is ChatGPT, so take it for what it's worth. Electrons repel each other. Fermions cannot occupy the same state. In neutron stars, gravity overwhelms electromagnetic repulsion, which makes sense. Electrons and protons merge into neutrons. So those two become neutrons. Neutron degeneracy, pressure becomes the new barrier. So the same fundamental rule still applies. Fermions cannot occupy the same quantum state. It's just happening with neutrons instead of electrons. And I think it's because they combine with neutrinos, if I'm not mistaken. If I read that correctly, you get electrons and protons that turn into neutrons plus neutrinos. Woo! It's a lot of fucking words.
A lot of studying you're doing over there.
Yeah, well, now I'm going to fucking, after this, we're going to have to study this shit. A neutron star is what happens when gravity crashes atoms so hard that electrons and the protons combine into neutrons. said that the star becomes a giant atomic nucleus held up by quantum mechanics. Um,
Yeah.
a neutron star is basically a city-sized ball of atomic nuclei where all the empty space is in atoms has been crushed out. So yeah, just it becomes more dense, which we talked about. So still not
Okay.
an exception. I want to know where you got the exception that they were an exception.
Well, I mean, it's the fact that it's able to compress electrons, um, bringing them closer together
Get rid
than
of the
normal.
space. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it does get rid of the space, the quote unquote empty space, because it becomes more dense, as opposed to us where we have the empty space
Hmm.
or seemingly the empty space. Got it.
Some have more empty space than others.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, physics is weird, dude. Physics is super weird. I don't know what else you've got to say about this. Um,
Oh man, we're gonna have a short one.
yeah,
Um,
we might have a short one, which I'm okay with. I'm not mad about it.
mhm.
Um, but I do feel I don't want to leave and then be like, ah, fuck, we should have talked about this.
Yeah,
Because we actually ended up covering three things: the wall thing,
yeah,
we don't feel wet, and there's no ghost.
and there's no ghost.
There's no ghost.
So yeah, this really connects into things like material science, which is something that I had to study in mechanical engineering. Just the makeup of different materials, density, mass of different materials, their heat properties, and things like that. So um, this was kind of just a little small portion of that.
Yeah, there's obviously a fuck ton that goes into this whole. I don't know if you want to call it a thought experiment, but this weird philosophical thing of, um, which leads into this idea of like, are we even real? Which I think you and I agree that it's pretty difficult to deny that we are in fact real. But what does that mean? And it because it's so many layers. I don't think it's complicated. But I definitely
Mhm.
know for a fact that there's just so many layers that are all connected. Like every single thing is so connected. This connected to quantum physics and quantum tunneling.
Mhm.
Because the exception again there is sometimes solid shit or what seems to be solid shit does go through other solid stuff. So it's all just layered upon layered upon layered upon layered. Makes it seem
Yeah,
complex, but it's fascinating layers.
yeah. The thought about quantum tunneling is technically you could walk through a wall, but
Technically,
probability is really small.
for us, it's super tiny, super duper
Yeah,
duper tiny. I'm
really
sure
small.
there's been some situations where like I don't know how I went through that. Um,
Oh,
and I'm
that would
mystified.
be that would be a good one. Like, what about those people that just wake up and all of a sudden they're in some weird place? You get
Yeah,
people talking about that on the internet all the time.
yeah, but it's not even that. It's I'm sure there's somebody in a construction site somewhere that was painting a wall and all of a sudden went through it, but then looked up and the wall was still there. And I'm sure it
Yeah,
had something to do with the nail loosened up for a little bit, and then when the force came back, it actually kinda nailed down a little bit. Like, a lot of wild shit happens in in life where it happened, you just can't explain it. So the only logical thing, which is not always correct, that's the weird thing
hmm,
about logic. The only logical thing is like, oh, it must be a ghost or we're in a simulation or we're just because we can't explain it as humans.
reminds
Um,
me of when I was moving furniture one time, and I had the person we were moving a sofa up the stairs, and I had him push the sofa towards me, and I almost went through a wall. So yeah,
almost.
that was that was physical. I mean, I broke through. So I
The
had a
we the
big
weird
body size print.
the weirdest shit that's ever happened to me is losing my wedding ring. I was setting it down where I would always set it down, and it fell. And when it fell, I went to go look for it, and that shit was gone. Um, Gone. I moved the dresser, pulled up the carpet. I mean, like you fucking name it. Unless my wife pawned it for $25, which maybe she did. Um, she's gonna go put it in her Only Me account. Um, so it's that's probably the weirdest shit that has ever fucking happened. Is I know I heard the fucking thing hit, and I kinda heard where it hit, so I started looking for I'm telling you, I moved that motherfucker, like, I moved it, moved the carpet, everything that was there, moved it, removed drawers. Like, I
Mhm.
went and I made a thorough search and rescue mission for that ring, never found it. $5.
Said $5.
$5. I don't doubt it. I
Oh man.
don't doubt it was $5. Uh,
Just a few weeks ago, like there were these earbuds that I bought, and I really like these earbuds, and I found another pair that I wanted to try, so I bought the other pair. The moment that the other pair showed up, I lost the first pair that I had. I cannot find these anywhere, so
yeah.
I'm kind of
But
mad
you
that I
didn't see
lost my
those.
earbuds.
Like, you didn't see where
The
those so you might have
the
just
earbuds?
actually realistically lost them.
Yeah, I mean they were sitting in the same place that I put the other ones, and I
Yeah.
just they disappeared. I'm
Uh,
gonna blame the kids on this one.
for sure. No, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I heard that fucking ring hit, and I looked for it. So, like, I seen it. It's not like I set it down, 'cause if any of you guys are married, um, shit disappears all the time because you set it down, but the wife comes by and moves shit around, and then all of a sudden, or the kids steal your shit.
Mm,
Now I'm not talking about that. Like, I left it somewhere, and then went somewhere, like, it hit the ground,
mm.
and I set it down. It fell, hit the ground, never seen it again.
It's probably because as soon as it hit the ground,
It went
it
through.
sounded like a $5 bill.
No, it just kept going. Some Chinese kids got it right now.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
went all the way through to the other side.
Right.
At any rate, I think that's about as much as we can milk out of this episode. It was an interesting one. It's
Yeah.
interesting to think about this idea that we're not touching anything, that we technically can't touch anything because there's electromagnetic repulsion. Um,
Mhm.
it's fun to
Basically
go ahead.
basically, it's not because the walls are solid, because 'cause they're not. It's just that 2 identical particles can't share the same space. That's all.
That's such a weird thing to say that they're not solid. We think of it as solid, but it's
Mhm.
that the only thing that makes them solid or solid like is the electromagnetic repulsion. Um,
Right.
so
But
weird.
then here's what will crash that thought is if you punch a wall,
Yeah,
the force of your fist is stronger than the force that pushes back on the wall, which is why you're able to punch a hole in the wall.
correct. Then we're back to the neutron star, right? Like it's the force. It was greater on one side than it was on the other, and
Hmm.
that's why I have it tearing, um, punching through plastic or whatever, just tearing shit, cutting stuff. The force was more on one side than it was on the other side.
And
So,
it's the distributed force, which is why a sharp knife cuts easier than a dull knife. So
but now
um,
you're talking about just a basic fucking um, pressure equation, right? Force over area.
right.
Um, yeah, yeah, for sure. Bonker
Yeah.
shit, bonker shit.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, so we'll wrap this one up, I guess.
Unless you got
Oh,
more, go
no, no. Quick
say it.
update. Sounds like my travel might be canceled for a little while. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you were gonna be traveling and doing the
Yeah,
podcast from a remote location in a bunker somewhere.
in a bunker underground, not to be seen again. Now I was supposed to go for a couple months, but it looks like I was reassigned to another project that's local, so I can. That's going to take up the bulk of the year. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
Good to know. Good to know. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, this is some of that information for sure, that you have to listen to several times and go over. I know for me, it's 100% true. Where I just have to listen to this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Sometimes for it just to even click, and even then, the quantum tunneling stuff still just blows my brain, and I'm still like, I don't. And again, to be fair, I don't think even the physicists know that. But
No.
it just physics is weird. That's why I like it.
Yeah. I think this spins off of quantum tunneling. It's just quantum tunneling has more to do with probability than anything.
Correct. Correct. And for the human logic, which is so weak, our human logic is so weak. For the human logic, it just it's too much. So our
Mm.
prefrontal cortex is like, that makes no sense. That's not logical. So I'm gonna like ignore it.
The
So
striatum's releasing dopamine anyway, all willy nilly. Oh, just feel good about it. It's
just feel
okay.
good of it. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
So anyways, appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the comments. Super duper appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next week, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. That's Mountain Standard Time. We're just starting off. Just got a few episodes in, so obviously those likes and those shares and telling other humans about the podcast would be super duper appreciated. Or don't. Either way, I think Richard and I are having fun. So
Oh yeah.
it'd
I'm
be
learning
better
a
if
whole
there
lot
was,
too.
yeah, it'd be helpful if we had more humans helping the cause. But either way, we're having fun. So I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Hey, there's one question here.
Uh oh. Uh oh. At
Do
the end,
neutrinos make sound? I
do
believe
you,
so.
I don't know. We're not there to
Oh,
hear it.
oh, yeah. It depends on who's there to observe it.
It depends on it. But I don't think that's valid because again, trees still make noise whether you're there or not. But one would have to argue that if it's interacting even at a very small level, this is we'll probably answer this next time, but I'm going to give my hypothesis. What I believe is neutrinos, they're going through us right now. So they're not interacting with us all that much.
Right.
So if they do make noise, it'd be very difficult to detect it. Um, so it's one of those things where, like, yeah, probably technically does make noise because it's still going through me. It's going through all of the stuff here. But I think it we don't have the equipment to hear it. That's my hypothesis. Probably wrong, but
It's probably not within within the range of hearing anyway.
well, definitely not hearing. Our hearing,
Yeah.
but I don't think we even have the equipment to do it. But what's yours?
Um.
Hypothesis.
Oh yeah. You're not going to be able to, just like you can't see it because it's not in the spectrum of your eyes. It could be infrared spectrum. It could be gamma ray spectrum. You're not able to see it. You're not going to be able to hear it because it's not within the spectrum of your hearing. This is also my belief on you can't see them, you can't hear them
Oh, you believe in
because
ghosts?
huh?
You believe
No,
in
I
ghosts?
believe it. I believe in the energy taking a different state uh of maybe vibration
Uh,
to the point where you can't see, you can't hear it. It may still be able to interact with certain things, but it's outside of your senses.
I don't know if we can spin that into a science thing because that's very sci-fi, but we'll see if we can spin that into a science
Oh
conversation.
man. Okay.
Uh, yeah, I think it'd be if we can make sure it stays on science. I think
Hmm.
we can have a good science conversation. Well, fuck it, we talked about simulations, and that has a little bit to do with science, but more sci-fi. But
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're giving a Mexican goodbye. I'm Mexican. I don't know how they do it in Nigeria.
Um,
Where you say goodbye like 10 times.
I mean,
And
usually
then,
it comes with fist shaking and a little bit of kicking. So
yeah, no, in Mexico, it's like you stand in front of the door and you're like, okay, goodbye. And like 45 minutes later, you're finally gone. I feel
yeah,
like the goodbye has lasted longer than the podcast than the episode at this point. Uh,
started about the halfway mark.
for sure. I've been saying goodbye for 20 minutes now. uh, at any rate, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening to this
Okay.
episode. We're gonna retitle it to goodbye. Um, so
Bye.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming out. We're gonna try and work on these technical difficulties, but I appreciate you guys being patient with us. Have a good one.